Order at 30. Roll call. Roll call.
Can we hold on for 1 second? Okay.
All right, we're good? Okay. So first item of the day, roll call. All right. And I, Commissioner Chen, am present. Commissioner Liu is absent. Commissioner Huang? Thank you. Commissioner Khan is absent. Commissioner Liu? Present. Thank you. Commissioner Mansell?
Present.
Thank you. Commissioner Spiro?
Present.
Thank you. Commissioner Gonzalez-Rodriguez? Present. Thank you. Commissioner Singh? Present. Thank you. And Commissioners Lee and Chalampati are absent, and that concludes roll call. And next item of the day would be the consent calendar. Is there a motion on the floor to approve the consent calendar? Anyone want to give a motion?
I, Commissioner Shriram, motion to approve the consent.
Thank you. Any seconds? Second. Thank you. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, please say nay. Any abstentions? And the motion passes. Okay, I do not believe we received any public. Cool. And next item would be open forum. If any members of the public would like to openly speak on any matter right now, that would be a good time.
We have one person,
All right.
Sean Paul.
All right, go ahead. Mr. Paul, 2 minutes is yours.
Hello again, everybody. Sean Paul, I guess, here. I ended up joining a few times in the past when you had the public meetings for the, I believe it was the public policy and the budget. Anyways, long story short, I'm not sure if any of you remembered, but I was working on a curriculum then, and I ended up having a few of the extensions of the pilot at the Alum Rock Branch Library, or at least planning sessions for it. And there's a lot of public support. I ended up getting support from a few other people to continue to run it. And yeah, I just thought that would be of interest since it's based on a few other things for people's professional and personal development. And I also have mentors who do things like the San Jose Museum of Art or run the Small Business Development Center. And so basically it's like a 4-week course, right? It's based off of James Clear's book, Atomic Habits, which helps people to start really slowly and at a really small level to build up the consistency for better habits and whatnot. And basically it just branches out into them realizing that true change is identity change. And one of the best ways to do that is to have basically the desired habit be the normal habit for a group. And that's why I worked with a lot of my colleagues or connections in other industries to like connect people to other opportunities, like with some of the council members maybe, or with people like the art museum or with businesses and whatnot. And so, yeah, just want to tell you guys know that that's underway, and I'm just developing it a bit more. And yeah, I remember I said that I'd let you know when I'm finished with it, and I just remembered this was happening, so I thought to stop by to let some of you know about that. I think I have some of your information, so I'll go ahead and text some of you more about it, or I could just email you guys some of the information, however works best for you guys. But yeah, also it's automated too for a good chunk of it, and I'm working on automating more. So yeah.
All right, for sure. Thank you, Mr. Paul. That sounds really, really exciting. Thank you so much for sharing this opportunity with us. And if you would like any help with publicizing this, any workshops, or if you have any flyers you'd like us to distribute, just let us know through email, and we'd be more than happy to help you out there. But yeah, it sounds really exciting, and I really appreciate you came here to speak to us today about it. So yeah, thank you. All right, are there any other members of the public who would wish to comment right now? Okay, cool. If not, we can move on to discussion / action items. Just note that under this section, items C, D, and H have been deferred to next month's meeting due to commissioner absences. So first up, item A would be Ms. Buzo with the Children and Youth Services Master Plan.
Oh. Turned it off. Good evening, commissioners. My name is Laura Buzo, assistant to the city manager in the city manager's office, and I'm supporting Deputy City Manager Angel Rios in the development of the Children Youth Services Master Plan. And we have a PowerPoint. I know I was here in February to give you an update, but thought as you are nearing the end of your calendar year and activities, we thought that it might be helpful to kind of leave you with some other activities that we're doing as we continue to develop the Children Youth Services Master Plan. Do you have a PowerPoint? Oh. Okay. I can just use this. Okay, so I wanted to start with the map of the city of San Jose. So I think this provides a good visual. The city of San Jose is not as it appears, right? There's some discrepancies and some differences in equity across the city, but thought that providing this visual kind of gives a nice context to begin our presentation. So the city of San Jose has over 1 million residents, approximately a little over 315,000 are children, youth, and young adults from birth through age 24. And so as I mentioned, I'm starting with this map. It just, again, you know, appearances aren't always what it seems. We have a lot of inequities across the city. We have many young people, many children, many families who are experience many challenges, barriers, and limited access to opportunities and supports. And so really the Children Youth Services Master Plan is collecting and organizing and coordinating with community providers, with city staff, with youth, with families across the city to identify what those needs are and also to develop some strategies and approaches on how best to address it. So I won't go into this too much because I've done this in previous presentations, but wanted to just share this slide with you. It kind of gives you a context of all the different initiatives, policies, strategies that we are using to really inform and develop the Children Youth Services Master Plan. Everything from the mayor's June budget message from 2021, which kind of initiated the development of the Children Youth Services Master Plan, as well as the education and digital literacy strategy, the Youth Empowerment Alliance strategic plan, and of course, all the work that you're doing as well. So as mentioned in previous conversations, the Children and Youth Master Plan, our goal is to ensure that there's alignment of programs, initiatives, and strategies across city departments, but also with those that are out in the community. We want to make sure that we're all kind of approaching and addressing the challenges and barriers and also the dreams of youth across the city, not only internally through across our departments, as I mentioned, but also in partnership with community-based organization, educational leaders, and of course, families and youth and young adults. We also want to make sure that we provide guidance on policy priorities and investments. We operationalize a Bill of Rights for children and youth, and then we provide a continuum of support from prevention to intervention. And then also develop an integrated service delivery system, because we know that many young people and their families need services immediately due to emerging issues or challenges or just identified needs. And then we also want to have long-term and sustainable impact and measurable outcomes. We want to be able to say in 2 or 3 years, what is the impact that we've had as a result of our work with our city staff, our partners, our families? What has been the impact of that work? So as we develop this cradle to career opportunity pathways, we have a number of activities that we have led over the past few months. We've done some community engagement activities. We've collected primary data. So actually going out into the community, finding out what their identified needs are, but also, as I mentioned, their dreams. What are their hopes and dreams for their children and their youth and for themselves as young people? And then also, as I mentioned, aligning what we're doing across the city, but also what's happening across Santa Clara County as well, so that we can make sure that we have some alignment. We also made sure to have some team structures of committees and advisories, because we know that we can't do this work alone. We have to do it in partnership with community. And then, as I mentioned, created an integrated single system of support. How do we make sure that we develop a process? So if a young person comes into the library and they need services immediately to address maybe their mental health issues or housing concerns, that we have the capacity and the resources on staff to be able to support families and young people. So this is a little hard to read, but it just shows you a nice visual, kind of the teaming structure. Again, recognizing that we, the city of San Jose, can't do this work alone. So we developed committees and advisories, representative of different groups, as well as young people, of course, and then also ensuring that we have provided you ongoing updates on the master plan. So as we have been hearing from community through our focus groups, through our surveys, these are some of the emerging community themes that we heard pretty clearly across the board. And I just want to note that these are draft. We're still in the process of finalizing them. We're hoping that by mid-May, we'll have these pretty well fleshed out. But again, we do know that there were a lot of concerns and interests around mental wellness and belonging, childcare, and built environments. And that includes everything from traffic safety to pedestrian walkways to access to parks and libraries and those kinds of things. Career readiness, development and opportunities, housing, and education. And so the other work that we're doing alongside developing the actual Children Youth Services Master Plan document is creating, as I mentioned, this integrated service delivery system. And so, as I mentioned earlier, we want to make sure that we have the support systems to be able to support children, youth, and their families as a need emerges. So we see ourselves as part of this, what we call this interconnected ecosystem, right? The county has some valuable resources and supports that we can get access to, as well as our school districts, as well as our different departments. And so how do we make sure that all of that is coordinated and that families and youth can access it effectively when they need it? So part of our work these last few months has been kind of in this phase 1 exploration area. We've done a lot of community assessments that identify what are those needs that folks are interested in, and again, also focusing on what are their hopes and dreams. So they may not have it right now, but what is it that they hope and dream for in the next year or 5 years? And then so as we move from phase 1 of exploration, we will then move into installation, and that would be actually identifying a model of how we put this work into play. And then in phase 3 would be the actual implementation. And so again, this is going to be in a parallel process as we develop the Children and Youth Services Master Plan. So that when the master plan gets approved in the fall, we can then move into developing further this integrated service delivery system. And so as we finalize the Children and Youth Services Master Plan, these are some areas that we are going to be focusing on in the next 2 months, is developing the opportunity pathway goals around those emerging things that I mentioned, and then creating our objectives, our performance measures, and then our evaluation tool. Again, how do we know that what we're doing is working? And so we need to make sure that we have the evaluation tools and the reporting structure to be able to report back to all of you, to City Council, but also to our community partners and our city staff. And then this just gives you a really quick highlight of our timeline. So in these next couple of months, again, we're going to be finalizing all of the data that we collect. We had over 1,000 individuals participate through our focus groups and our community meetings. We had almost 2,000 completed surveys from parents and caregivers this in February. And so we're currently in the process of finalizing our analysis and summaries of that. And then we'll be bringing community partners, families, and young people together to kind of help us finalize the final recommendations that we want to include in the master plan. And then really in June and July, we will just be working on the master plan, finalizing it, and then presenting it to City Council in September or October for approval. And that's my presentation. Do you have any questions? Oh, yes.
I have a question. So, first of all, thank you for your presentation. So my question is, how directly would these programs affect communities, specifically individuals? You mentioned libraries as a place where someone could go if they wanted to seek assistance to these programs. Would there be on-site resources? Would they be referred to somewhere else? What does that look like for the typical person?
Yeah, and it'll be a combination of things, right? So we're also working with across the different departments, like the library, parks, recreation, and neighborhood services, Office of Economic Development, housing. So we're working with all the different departments to first kind of identify their programs and resources so that we can figure out where are the gaps, and then how do we address those gaps? So that could be perhaps we ourselves as a city develop a new program, or we look out to the community to see if there are organizations that are providing that service, maybe like the county or a community-based organization, right? So that's the first step. And then the other step will be identifying, then once we know all those resources that we have, both internally and externally, then what's the best way of connecting a young person, for example, to those resources? And so that'll probably be a longer process, right? We kind of see ourselves working on that through this next year to figure out, maybe it's something as easy as training a staff person to know where those resources are, and then they can connect the young person, or working with like a county department to help us refer that young person, as an example, to that service. So in this next year, we'll be fleshing that out a little bit more, but of course, we'll be bringing that to you so that you can give us some input and feedback about what you think will work best for a young person and their families.
And I have a follow-up question, if that's okay. Yeah, so it sounds like we're early in the phase, we're trying things out, we're working and brainstorming. Yeah, I lost that question, so I can't say anymore. Thank you.
It's okay, you can do it again, just bring you back. Anyone else? Go ahead.
Yeah, thank you so much for your presentation. It's always like such a pleasure to hear about like youth services, children master plan. I was wondering, I think on one particular slide you mentioned that it entails like guidance on policy planning and like I think investments. I was wondering what that like entails or like maybe more details about it.
Yeah, so through our community engagement process, right, if we identify some areas that the community says that we really need to focus on, and in order to do that, we need to, this is just, again, just speculating, right? It could be, for example, a service. Then we may make a recommendation in the master plan that we want to invest city's resources or funding to provide that type of program or service. And again, that could be something that we would then offer in the city, or perhaps we provide the funding to an organization for them to provide it. So again, it'll kind of come up from the community to figure out what are those recommendations, what are those resources and programs that they think are important that we should invest, like fund, right, to be able to offer to the community.
Yeah, thank you so much. Sounds great.
So it sounds like there's going to be some trial period or some type of beta that will go as the program goes on. How would feedback be given from the community and collected from the city?
Yeah, and that's a great question. So one of the things that we're exploring right now is actually possibly doing some pilot activities where it'll give us an opportunity to kind of test some things, right? We haven't quite fleshed it out, but kind of doing it in a smaller scale so that we can test different approaches or strategies or activities. And we're going to do that in partnership with the community, right? So it's not just, the city of San Jose pushing these services, like through the library or a community center, but that it's coming from the neighborhoods. And so we'll be working with, for example, community-based organizations, because they're in the community with families. And so we'll be working with them to make sure that we're getting not only their input and feedback on what's working and what's not working, but also to help us to make sure that we're also getting that input and feedback from families and from young people, right? Because we want to make sure, of course, that what we are doing in the community is exactly what they want, they need, and that it's working. Because if we're providing a service and they're not using it, they think it's not the most appropriate resource, then that means that we need to change, right? And so we definitely want to make sure that we're getting that ongoing input and feedback from the community.
All right, anyone else? All right, if not, thank you so much for your time.
Well, thank you.
Yeah. All right, we can move on to the next item under the section, which would be Commissioner Huang's policy proposal.
Okay, thank you. So just reading out the background for the policy proposal, over 100 cities in the United States, including Glendale, Santa Monica, and Irvine, use lighted crosswalks to help protect pedestrians. As a result, pedestrian deaths nationwide have been declining. However, in Santa Clara County, pedestrian crashes from 2017 to 2021 have been as high as 2,530. In order to combat this modern record of traffic deaths in 2022, the city of San Jose should implement additional safety features at all vulnerable pedestrian crossings in the middle of roads, especially in East Side San Jose and downtown, such as on Center Road, McKee, and San Carlos. At night, these crossroads are dim, only illuminated by the side horizontal flashing beacon. On busy roads, many drivers may fail to recognize the side beacons and continue straight. By following the lead of these cities, the city of San Jose would act as a positive model of pedestrian safety as the 10th largest city in the United States.
All right, does anyone have any questions, concerns, comments, anything? Go ahead.
So my question is, so it seems that the use of these in pavement flashlights have reduced the number of incidents, right? Is that correct? Is that the primary tool that's being used to reduce the rate of pedestrians? Are there possibly other tools that are being used?
Yeah, there could be other tools, but just from an outside perspective, what they have at the crosswalks are the side beacons and then the zebra crossings. So the zebra crossings themselves aren't enough because at night they're not illuminated and not flashing or anything to get the attention of drivers. So by having these motion censored or activated in pavement lights, it would catch the attention of drivers and therefore possibly reduce the amount of casualties. But correlation does not equal causation, so.
Yeah, so I realize this is a policy proposal and it's not like the finalized version, but is there any idea or for the vision or the outcome of this policy? Like you mentioned those certain roads such as McKee Center Road, but in your eyes, is the policy just gonna stop there, or are we gonna continue to add these or implement these in pavement lights to other streets?
It's more like a broad view. Those streets specifically were mentioned as an example, but it can be implemented at all the different crosswalks in San Jose.
Go ahead.
Is there a estimated fiscal analysis for this?
It's I think it's mentioned, but a couple thousand for the in pavement lights. But because they're long term, they're meant to last for a long time and be useful.
Anyone else?
Real quickly, could you specify where that number is?
Hold on, I'm reading it too.
Thank you.
Yeah, I don't think it's mentioned in the policy, but there was it in the draft. It must have been deleted. Yeah. Yeah, it could be in one of the websites.
All right, is there anything else? Yeah, go ahead.
Oh, I just want to say I really like the idea. I think it's a really nice way to stop a lot of
Cool. Anybody else? If not, I think we can proceed to the vote. All right, is there a motion on? Wait, how do I do this again? Okay, yeah, we're on the vote now. All right, okay. All in favor of passing the motion?
Is there a motion?
It's okay.
Sorry, I left
You
my
just ask
caffeine
if there are
pills
any
out.
motions on the
Right.
floor.
Are there any motions on the floor to move to a vote?
Commissioner Singh, motion to move to a vote.
Thank you. Any seconds?
Commissioner Gonzalez, second.
Thank you. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, please say nay. Any abstentions? All right, the motion passes. Okay. We are skipping items C and D. Those have been deferred to next month's meeting, which would leave us with item E, which would be Commissioner Liu's project proposal. So go ahead, get for.
So this specific proposal is meant for the District 5 Advisory Council. They've been working really hard throughout the year, being there and helping host community events. A lot of the big projects that we did co-organized a really big cultural festival, the Death Festival, at History Park, and that got several news outlets and all other accomplishments. And this is really a time for the council to reflect, set goals for the next year, learn from each other and our mistakes and what we have planned for the future. And this really serves as a reflection, and it will prepare these youth advisory council members for the upcoming term regardless of the commissioner. That's it.
All right, cool. Commissioner Singh, go ahead.
Yeah, I read it's for District 5 students to get a chance to come together. Well, together at the conference, but does that mean it's strictly limited to District 5 or can other youth attend if they want?
It mainly is restricted to District 5.
All right, anybody else? Go ahead, Commissioner.
Oh yeah, I just wanted to ask something similar to what Commissioner Singh asked, like whether other staff members potentially join to get an idea, maybe if there's any sort of collaboration between us for the upcoming year.
Yeah, I mean, I'd be happy to talk about this further in partnership.
Okay, cool. Anybody else?
Really quick, make sure you all speak up because this microphone has to catch everything. This is a bit of a larger room. That's all. I can't hear you. I don't think the microphone.
I'm sorry.
No, you're fine. This is blanket for everybody. I know we have a tendency to like talk right next to the person.
All right, if there are no further comments / questions, are there any motions on the floor for a vote to approve this project?
I personally agree to approve.
Okay, cool. I need to vote, right? We do it. Yeah, all right. Any seconds?
Commissioner Singh.
Thank you. All in favor, please say aye. All opposed? Any abstentions? All right, motion passes. Your project was also approved. Okay, so moving on to item F. Commissioner Lee is not present, but I believe Mr. Mascaredes will be presenting on his behalf. So go ahead, you have the floor.
Yeah, so my name is Nolan Mascaredes. I'm part of the District 10 Youth Leadership Coalition and I serve as the vice president. And so District 10, we proposed at or presented at the Youth Budget Summit on the environment. And so while doing that research, we took a look at the current model that is in place and we found a couple of areas that we wanted to improve upon. And so we created 2 memos. The first one is called the Development of Urban Green Spaces. And so what that means is just greenery in buildings, in current infrastructure, and things like that. So currently in San Jose, 58% of San Jose's urbanized area is covered with buildings, asphalt, and concrete, while only 15.4% is covered by trees or greenery. And the city has a goal to reach 20% green coverage by 2051. But however, this could drop below 10%, which means that the area that is covered by greenery by 2030 at the current pace. And so obviously we know that San Jose is going to continue to urbanize and to continue to build buildings. And so what can we do as the city and as Youth Commission to kind of alleviate that and move towards the right direction? And so our recommendation is that urban green spaces should be implemented into San Jose at different scales in both private and public spaces, as properties obviously owned both privately and publicly. And the long-term vision is that it should be integrated into master plans and infrastructural projects like housing, transport, business, community, and health facilities. So basically, upcoming infrastructure would be developed would include urban green spaces in them. And it would be included in the San Jose Building and Divisions track. And the progress would be seen through the Climate Smart Data Dashboard. And so an example of what an urban green space would look like is up there. This is in Dallas of 10,000 acres. Obviously, it wouldn't be this grand going into it in the early stages, but as we continue to develop, maybe we could get to that level as well. And so the conclusion is that it would reduce heat absorbing surfaces and reduce harmful air pollutants, making our carbon footprint decrease and our temperatures as well as including increasing our aesthetic values of the city and visitors and investors. And it would also promote just an increased mental health because nature and people connect on a spiritual and emotional level. And there are studies which show that depression decreases with the increase of greenery. And so that is the urban green spaces.
All right, thank you. Do we have any questions or comments, concerns, anything?
I just wanted to say thank you so much for your presentation. It was really great. And I mean, the urban green spaces is like amazing. Obviously, even if they're not as grand, I think it's an amazing concept. So, yeah.
Anybody else? Commissioner View?
Thank you. Yeah, I mean, this proposal contributes to the city's climate smart goals. And that's awesome. So currently, are there any programs or teams that are looking into expanding green space or anything like that?
I think that there are, I believe that Beautify SJ is looking into things that sort of the nature of that. So there are existing programs.
So this specific proposal would put definition on things, or
Kind of put a definition, and maybe it could even be in collaboration with them, things like that, to kind of help set that standard of what urban green spaces would look like in San Jose.
Anybody else?
And do you maybe have any plans to like collaborate with, I mean, technically it is more of like a city thing, but potentially like maybe any clubs related at schools related to like climate action or just general environmental action?
I think that could definitely be implemented into it, and I think that the development obviously affects the youth and the future of the city. So I think that getting their input would also be something to definitely consider. It wasn't part of this right now, but as we continue to develop it, I think that working with clubs like Spare maybe or things like that could be definitely implemented in the future.
Does anybody, Commissioner View?
yeah, this is just a clarifying question. So UGS standards. So is this proposal's recommendation to implement these definitions into some sort of document that's already living in the Senate?
Yeah, so we put the standards on the second page under background B. And so it would be in accordance with the Department of Planning and Building Code Enforcement. So underneath there, it would be included into, I think at the beta would be into the new development of infrastructure. So buildings that are popping up, newly constructed.
I think because I noticed that the recommendation did go, it did seem that it was short in putting through actual recommendation.
Yeah, anyone else? If not, I do have a really quick question. I think you briefly mentioned the climate smart data dashboard. I'm just curious, what does this dashboard entail?
So it's basically, it measures like sort of like climate related things according to San Jose. So like pollution, things like
Oh,
that.
okay,
And so we would basically like take data, see from there and incorporate that into bettering the proposal itself. So like, what should we include, what might work, what might not, things like that.
Got it. Okay, cool. Yeah, that's all for me. So one last call. Any other comments? If not, are there any motions on the floor?
There's one
Oh.
comment in the public. Lillian,
Go ahead.
go ahead, Lillian.
Can you hear me?
Very, can you speak a little louder, Lillian?
Hear me?
Faintly.
Very faintly.
Okay, can you hear me?
Yeah.
Hear me?
Yes.
It's-
Mhm.
Okay, so, you know, I have been in the community just a few short years, but I do know that David Cohen, who sits on the city council and represents the environment for the city council and his particular district. The city council, especially District 10, which is Mayor Matt Mahan's district, they are currently reviewing that process of how developers come in and cut down orchard trees and oak trees and all kinds of like mature trees. So I would hope that you incorporate some of what you're talking about right now into proposed development from big developers. Thank you so much.
Thank you for your comment. Mr. Mascarenhas, you have anything to say to that?
Yeah, I think that I haven't gotten the chance to look at that yet. I think that that's an interesting opportunity, and I think that in the future, if this gets passed down, we can definitely start to work with that and see where we can go with that. Thank you for your input and it's greatly appreciated.
Yeah, we really appreciate your insights. Okay, do we have any other comments, questions? If not, I think we can move on to right. Are there any motions on the floor to move this to a vote?
Hi, Commissioner Shiro, motion to approve this.
Any seconds? All right, all in favor of approving, please say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, please say nay. Any abstentions? All right, motion passes. Next item on our agenda is again for Commissioner Lee. Mr. Vasquez, are you going to be?
Yeah.
This one? All right, cool. Go ahead. What's yours?
Sure. So this one is called the Green Skills Education Program, again, in line with environmental. And so the current problem with this is that green jobs grew at an annual rate of 8% between 2015 and 2021, while the talent pool only grew at 6%. So this clearly shows that the demand is much greater than the supply at the moment. And so for every 10,000 workers leaving a not green job, there is only one moving into a green job. So obviously, with global warming and the impact of the environment that we are leaving, this is clearly not a ratio that I think that should be left that high. And so in 5 years' time, green skills will outpace the supply, and that the Bay Area is the world's green economy hotspot, with 26 of the businesses in California contributing to a growing green economy, and over 75,000 jobs accounting for 28% of all green jobs in the state. And so if the supply is much less than the demand, we obviously need people to work on green infrastructure and things like that, but the education that we are currently providing is not is virtually non-existent, so that we can be, or in order to do so. And so our recommendation is to upskill the existing workforce with sustainability focused skills, focusing on upskilling existing workforce and the unemployed. So people who are already in the workforce who might need some skills, and the unemployed, giving them an opportunity to gain some skills and maybe enter the workforce in green development. And so we will be able to create a strong foundation by tapping into younger generations, as we are the future, and we will be the ones who will need to develop these sort of projects and green spaces in order to create a greener future. And so if we can involve the youth at a young age, we can definitely increase youth engagement in green activity going down the line. And so this would be in accordance with San Jose Economic and Workforce Department to help kind of build these training programs. And it would be focused, so our target audience would be local colleges, so college students who maybe want to gain some skills, youth, so that they can gain skills at a young age, become immersed in the area and gain experience from a young age, and low-income families who maybe want the opportunity to gain some skills offered at a low price. And so the conclusion is that by focusing on these top green skills, San Jose can increase green talent, provide more employment opportunities because we will have more people with green skills, and help the underprivileged and homeless with access to trainings in which they can now gain the traits to be employed. That is it.
All right. Thank you. Anyone have any questions? Yeah,
Like when we're talking about giving this green skill education to a demographic, what age group do you think this is, like high schoolers?
Yeah, I think that this would be high schoolers mainly because people lower, I think that that's more getting them in familiar with like what's going on in the world. I don't think that we would be able to teach them substantially enough at a young age or an age that young. I think that starting in high school is when people start to pick their careers, interests, and things like that. So I think high school would be around a good age to start offering these skills because they know their interests and where they might want, what they might want to do going down the line.
Cool. Anyone else? Yeah, should we go ahead?
So would the recommendation direct the city to create programs that would help youth understand and build their skill around the environment?
So it would be directed by the city, and not just for youth, for even adults, people in college, the underprivileged. Obviously, that might look different for each demographic, but it would be city driven. Yeah.
And as a follow-up question to that, if that's okay. So there are a lot of organizations that have emphasis on climate and green. Is there a specific reason why you think that the city government should take on this issue?
Yeah, and so I think that while there definitely are a lot of organizations doing work like this, I think that at a city level, it would be better just because of obviously the city, we're trying to enable them with skills which would make them more employable and things like that, right? And so I think that if we can offer these skills at a city level, it would be more publicized, not only because it's offered by the city. We could also, as a city, we would have more of a reach. And so the publicity, we might be able to attract more people and things like that. So yeah, that's why I implemented this at a city level. And also because obviously we're going to need to develop more green talent. And so like with buildings and with new infrastructure and things like that. And so things in the future with my pump up. So it's good to basically just get involved with this.
And I have a comment. This is all great things that I want to point at interest in these programs. I know that life skills and climate is an issue or topic that is very prominent right now and it should be focused on. I just wanted to note that like, even in the civic engagement realm where lots of students want to be able to participate and make a change, here in the Youth Commission we have we just newly appointed a commissioner from a vacancy, and prior to District 5, its seat was vacant also for the past 3 years. So a concern that I would have would be kind of long-term interest and engagement in what that would look like and result in.
All right, so anyone have anything to say? Don't have direction, anything? All right, if not, are there any motions on the floor to move this to a vote?
I, Commissioner Gonzalez, needs a motion to vote.
Any seconds? All right, all in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Is the motion to approve?
Yes,
Okay, sorry.
yeah.
All in favor?
That was there, right? All in
Sorry,
favor,
yeah.
please say aye. Okay, all opposed, please say nay. Any abstentions? All right, the motion passes. Because item H is being deferred, we are done with discussion / action items. Thank you for your time. Thank you so much. All right, and moving on to reports and information. Item A is Mr. Dersh.
You all. Good evening. My name is Alex Dersh. I'm a council assistant for the Vice Mayor of San Jose, Rosemary Kamei, who's representative for District 1. I'm here to share a report verbally about some of the highlights that have occurred at the City Council since your last meeting in March, as well as some highlights about what is happening in District 1 and the Office of Vice Mayor Rosemary Kamei. City Council has touched on a lot of really important issues over the past month. Economic development across the city, programs to address homelessness and housing affordability, expanding identification for sites for emergency housing, emergency interim housing for homeless individuals. They've also looked at programs that can improve our energy efficiency when it comes to grid emergencies, as well as supporting unhoused individuals living along creeks and in encampments and making sure they get the supportive services that they need. The city has touched on their wage theft policy in preventing it and making sure that the city's contractors abide by the laws. They've also discussed digital equity initiatives to make sure that we close the gaps in digital access and training across the city in different communities. City Council has gone over their general plan, envisioning what San Jose could look like in 2040, discussing different opportunities and pathways for developing more housing and addressing the needs of the community to make sure it's affordable and accessible. The city's also looked at projects to improve the connections to the airport, as well as considering the viability of neighborhood commissions and looking at potential new sites for public works projects and artistic designs. In District 1 in particular, and with the vice mayor, she's done a lot of really exciting things lately. She's presented a commendation to an individual in March who led significant cleanup efforts around Coyote Creek. She was also proud to co-author a wage theft prevention policy that will ensure that it happens less frequently and protects workers better. District 1 also yesterday hosted 3 locations for a litter pickup event where across the city, run by the Beautify SJ program, volunteers picked up litter and trash and cleaned up our streets. And the vice mayor also continued her service attending city and interagency committee meetings that she's a member of, as well as attending various significant community-related events, notably a ribbon cutting of a new STI testing machine facility at Planned Parenthood's laboratory on the Alameda, as well as an event celebrating city and cross-sector efforts to close disparities in digital access in education. Additionally, there will be a vacancy coming up at this very commission coming later this month, and the council member has received multiple applications and is in the process of reviewing them and will fill the vacancy shortly after it occurs. And sometime after the May 22nd meeting. There's also some exciting events for community engagement and for young people in the city. There's a spring career fair being hosted by a federally funded career training organization called Work to Future that will be held at San Jose City College tomorrow. There's also this Wednesday a event at Valley Fair Mall, Westfield Valley Fair Mall, called Longevity Walk, where we'll be celebrating longevity, exercise, and health throughout your whole life. And there will also be events across the city, including a deep one called Paint the City SJ, which provide free outdoor painting classes for anybody, first come, first serve. And these are all really great opportunities to get involved in your community. If you have any further questions about some of the specific items that the city council has discussed or acted upon in the past month, you can reach me at my council email at alex.dersch@sanjoseca.gov. And I'll be happy to provide you further details. And I can also help direct you to more volunteer opportunities that the city and District 1 provides for you. And there's also a lot of great opportunities for volunteering with Second Harvest, which provides free food to individuals throughout the city. That's my report. Thank you.
Thank you. Any questions or comments? Let's go ahead.
I think earlier, first, thank you so much. And I think earlier you mentioned there was an event relating to educational disparities. Would you mind talking a little bit more about what that is? I'm really interested since that's something my aunt works with a lot.
Absolutely. Thank you for your question. Yeah. So that past Wednesday on April 19th, there was an event hosted by Silicon Valley Education Foundation, where they celebrated city and cross-sector efforts to close the digital divide, which is the disparities in access across neighborhoods and communities in the city and in the whole county of access to digital devices and services and Wi-Fi connection, and also disparity in access to training to use those services. And the city has developed various initiatives, especially related to their digital equity and empowerment program, where they've aimed to close this divide and work with different third-party organizations, as well as the San Jose Public Library and the San Jose Public Library Foundation has done a lot of work there. And if you'd like to email me for more specific information about that item, I can definitely get that to you too.
Yeah, sounds good. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Anybody else? Okay, if not, I just have one quick comment. I saw one of the Paint the City events at Rainbow Park. Was just walking around the other day, and I was really intrigued what that was, and I know now.
Awesome.
Yeah, I'll check it out next
I
time.
haven't been to one yet, but I would like to.
All right. There are no further questions / comments. Thank you so much for your time. Yeah. Next item on the agenda is Mr. Georgioff.
All right. Am I able to share my screen? Can you guys hear me?
Yes.
Cool. All right. My name is Nick Georgioff. I am a recreation supervisor with the Parks and Recreation Division. Give me 1 sec here to get my thing open. All right. So I'll be sharing on 3 different items today. I can pull this up. I'm so sorry. Hold on. There we go. All right. So we just released our summer 2023 community activity guide. As you can see here, we have a summer priority registration, which began yesterday. So this is an exclusive registration period for any families who are scholarship eligible. So that runs from April 23rd through May 6th. So on May 6th, that's when our general registration opens. So any families can register for any summer camps or classes on that day. If you're interested in specifics, we host all of our different community activity guides at issue.com. So if there's a specific region, neighborhood, council district, you can click to see more in there. There are also specified community activity guides that focus on all access sports and recreation and therapeutics programs and regional parks. So just to kind of show you an example of something that's inside, this one is for our regional parks. You can see a whole bunch of different outdoor camps, classes, in addition to special summer events that they're hosting. For an example, a summer movie night at Almaden Lake Park. A few other things here. If you're also interested in looking at all the classes, we have them at sjregistration.com. So you can kind of dig deeper into all the sorts of different activities that we have. You can look at specific neighborhoods, all of that. And 2 quick plugs for some open positions with Parks and Recreation. We still have our assistant swimming pool manager and swimming pool manager positions open. There are 4 different pools that we operate during the summer at Camden Community Center, Fair Swim Center, Mayfair Community Center, and Rotary Ryland Pool. So they're looking for assistant swimming pool managers and swimming pool managers. And I believe the main education requirement is completion of high school or a GED. I do know that you can apply for these positions even if you haven't currently graduated. But if you have any questions, all of those contacts are here at the bottom of the job postings. Just search for City of San Jose jobs or city jobs. And then one final group of positions that we have are open at Family Camp at Yosemite. When you scroll through here, you can see that there's a whole bunch of different classes or classifications. It's a whole bunch of different jobs. And this job opportunity is located up in Yosemite. Again, check out those different positions. All the pay, all of that is available on our City Careers website. So yeah, just summarizing that summer is open and that we have a few different job opportunities for youth who are 18 years older. Thank you.
All right, thank you. Do we have any questions, comments? Okay, go ahead.
I just wanted to share like quick comment as in like, thank you so much for always like coming to our meetings and sharing all these amazing opportunities. They're like things that I always share with my youth advisory council, and like they're always so excited about like the small events at parks and all the different recreation events. I just wanted to thank you so much.
Of course, you're welcome.
All right, just add on to that really quickly. I really appreciate the reminder the summer is coming. I cannot wait. Yeah. Anybody else? All right, if not, thank you so much for your time, Mr. Georgioff. It's always a pleasure having you.
Awesome.
And, okay, we can move on to item C then, which would be Ms. Renat.
Good evening, Commissioners. My name is Vidya Kilambi, Division Manager from the library, and I'm here to present the library update. We have three major celebrations happening this month. Last week, we celebrated National Volunteer Week. The annual celebration recognizes the important contributions volunteers make to our community. Last year alone, as the library engaged over 1,200 volunteers who contributed more than 27,000 hours of work and helped 2,984 people improve their English, read to 427 children, and assisted more than 700 people with computer questions. This week is National Library Week. During this time, we celebrate our nation's libraries, library workers' contributions, and promote library use and support. And on Tuesday, tomorrow, is National Library Workers' Day, and SJBL will join the celebrations by sharing a series of social media posts that feature our staff. Thus, we'll invite the public to pick up a free Right to Library sticker at any of our locations. More information on all these celebrations available at sjpl.org. This month, we are also hosting our third annual Spring Into Poetry contest. The contest has 5 different age categories, and first to third place winners in each category will receive a prize bundle that includes books and a gift card, and their work will also be featured in a special contest hosted via the library's short edition portal online and a short edition dispensers. This contest is open till the end of the month and will close on Sunday, April 30th. As mentioned last month, SJPL's Teen HQ is excited to announce a partnership with We Thrive. And then We Thrive is a nonprofit entrepreneurial apprenticeship program for youth that focuses on under-resourced communities to help them start their own ventures, earn real revenue, and gain mentorship. This is a 16-day summer camp, and registration is now open.
Attention, please, the library will close to the public in less than 30 minutes. After 8, the library will only be available to assist use funds with current tower cards till 12 a.m. Again, the library is closing in 30 minutes.
And Entrepreneurs is a seminar to teach creative middle and high school students to take their passions and turn them into a small business, learn financial literacy skills, small business skills, and how to take your creative work to the next level during this full-day program. This seminar will be in person in room 225 at King Library on Saturday, May 13th from 10 to 4:30 p.m. This program is also tied to the online financial literacy workshop on May 6th, but attendance as both events is not required. Middle and high school students interested in learning more about financial security, meeting financial goals, and budgeting are encouraged to register and attend the financial literacy workshop program on May 6th from 1 to 2 p.m. Please register online for either program at sjpl.org. And that concludes my part of the report. Thank you.
To add something to the library report, if I may. I'm honored and very excited to announce that our very own Megan Malloy has been this year's recipient of the California State Library Association's Young Adult Services Award of Achievement, PIASA, for this year. This honors the best librarian in youth services in the state of California. And she is our 2023 winner. And I believe you guys will all agree that she's very well deserving. And let's give her a big, huge round of applause. Out soon, so we will happily post it on library social media, our youth commission social media. You can all like it and that. So thank you so much, Megan, for all that you do for our youth commission and our
Thank you.
library. Thank you, you all.
One more time, guys. That is amazing, actually. That's so amazing and very well deserved. Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, thank you. I'm gonna ask a question real quick. So this is the library's report, and I wanted to ask, because the youth voice memo was from the library department, if there was any update on that.
We are working on
it.
We are currently kind of working through the process of that. So we took the recommendations that we discussed here last time, and then we're bringing them to the city council or city manager administration and sort of working through their feedback process. Our goal is to be on the June NSC meeting. That's the same meeting that you all will present at in May, but we would like to be on the June meeting. But we're still kind of working through the city manager's feedback that they have about those recommendations, and then we'll see if we can hopefully get on the June meeting. Thank you for asking.
Anybody else? All right, if not, well, Ms. Moy, you are our favorite. Like,
thank you.
You are our favorite. And that would, then we can move on to, oh, my report, that's me. Okay. So, let's see. Right, so of course we have our big NSE meeting coming up. It's on May 11th. We will likely have to miss some school for that, but if anybody is willing to come, like it'd be a great opportunity for you to just get more involved. It'll be in City Hall chambers. It'll be really exciting, it'll be really fun, and I can use some assistance. So yeah, please come to that. And there is a practice run on May 1st. Ms. Moy has sent out an email for that. And yeah, this is basically the culmination of like our entire year. It'd be nice to showcase our work, you know, get some more exposure, and most importantly, it'll be fun. So yeah, please come to that, and it'll be a good time. Besides NSE, which is the primary main thing that we'll be building up to all year, we also have our end of the year celebration, and there is an ad hoc meeting for that coming up. We're planning that this Thursday, and because it's going to be an event celebrating us, it'd be nice to have our input on it. So please come to that if you can, and we appreciate your insight. And besides that, yeah, we're just wrapping up this year. It's hard to believe that my term is almost up. Yeah, it's been wild, almost 2 years now, and I'm gonna miss y'all, but we still got one meeting left next month for May. It's already pretty packed, but if you would like to add on any policy proposals, we'd like to get those out of the way because we're adjourning after May. So please send this in. And yeah, NSC ad hoc end of the year wraps it up for me. So moving on to commission support per city districts, again, starting with me. So yeah, we're just wrapping up this year. It's been pretty chill, getting ready to pass on succession. Pass on like my seat as District 1 Commissioner. I am out of here, but I have good faith that it will be in good hands. And yeah, we're wrapping things up. A couple loose ends that need to be tied up, but I am confident that I will find the energy to pull through. I would also like to apologize for my little scatterbrainedness during today's meeting. I left my caffeine pills at home, but yeah, that wraps up for me. Okay, so moving on, Commissioner Liu is not present, so Commissioner Huang, go ahead.
At our last DAC meeting, we prepared for our annual policy-thon by assigning roles for research. And then the following Monday was our policy-thon, and we wrote policy on increasing housing distance from highways. So that's it for us.
Cool. Commissioner Khan is not present, so Commissioner Weir.
Yeah, so a lot of things are going on. We're planning for that end of the year transition conference. It's great. It's gonna be great. It's gonna be all day, so I hope that they do get a night sleep before. But also this Saturday, April 29th, from 11 a.m. to 2 a.m. At 2 a.m. No, to 2 p.m. The Mount Pleasant Neighborhood Association is hosting a community event, and that's called One Community. And they've asked me, the District 5 Youth Commissioner, to be their masters of ceremony, and I humbly accepted with some I accepted. So that was that. And that's it.
All right, thank you. Commissioner Gonzalez, go ahead.
So as the official communications director of the commission, I've just been working on our social media and expanding to other platforms and just engaging youth, or just increasing youth engagement. And then we've also been planning a team bonding event, so that should be like more details should be coming out soon. And then overall, just like building my act and working on it.
Thank you.
Yeah. So essentially, we had one meeting pretty recently, but since it is AP season, obviously my ACT members have been slightly less present. We have been communicating a little bit through text and whatnot. Currently, we're working on reaching out to different people working in health, medical organizations, kind of a preparation for Commissioner Huang and District 7 mental health, public health fair that it should be coming up in fall. And then we're also continuing to work on our kind of healthcare proposal, which is related to drug abuse, and then for the youth, and also our school safety proposal, which is related to emergency training in schools.
All right, thank you. Next up would be Commissioner Gonzalez.
So like I've been getting the hang of it. I've been getting like how the meetings are. I've been seeing. I actually like working with you guys. I love the like just learning more about the city, more about what it needs, more about like what it needs to get support and help. And and I actually like that. I actually like working with you guys and like helping you guys out. Even though if I may not have been here for long, but like I'm trying and I will try. Like help you guys.
Appreciate that. Thank you. Next up, moving to Commissioner Singh.
Yeah, so as was mentioned before, it is AP season, so most of my YAC is seniors, so we didn't meet last month. But I did pass a flyer, or not a flyer, like more like an advertisement to the ASB at my school to recruit for the YAC for future years. And I'm planning to get that same one to the other high schools in my district. So yeah.
All right, thank you. Okay, so our last update, do you have the updates for us on behalf of Commissioner Lee?
I mean, we had around 3 meetings and we kind of touched up on the policies. I don't know what other discussions. We didn't really have many recently, but yeah, just working on the policies and getting ready for next year.
That's great. All right, and that concludes our reports and information. Right, yeah. Anyone would like to place an item on next month's agenda right now? Now's the time. If not, just email in any additions to the agenda.
I'd like to add to the next agenda an informational presentation regarding statewide governmental resources.
That's great. Anybody else?
And just follow up with the information so we can reach out and contact. So we can add them.
Can I wait? I
We need to have their email address so we can get their presentation resources and make sure we follow up with them about the webinar and the location and the agenda.
I'll do that.
Thank you.
All right, anything else? If not, we can move on. The next regular meeting will be held on May 22nd, 2023 at 6:30 PM at council chambers. It is our final meeting, my final meeting as a youth commissioner. And yeah, a little sad, but good things have to come to the end. So yeah, be there, be present. You know, I don't mind some gifts, you know. But yeah.
It's my birthday, so.
Stop bringing cake. All right. So yeah, adjournment. Is there a motion on the floor to adjourn?
I, Commissioner Shiro, motion to adjourn this meeting.
Thank you. Any seconds? All right, thank you. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? The abstentions? All right, we are done, and let's wish me luck and not crash on the way home. Wait, is that just a